Okay, so hello everyone. Say hello to my cat. She wants to help out in this video. But anyway, in this video, allow me to share with you a very simple solution when it comes to fixing a hydraulic pump that produces a whining sound. Now, just a little backstory. About 9 years ago, I had a problem with my power steering. It's not that this pump is not working. It's just that every time I turn, it produces a whining sound. Everything works well. The steering was smooth. It's just that it produces a whining and very annoying sound. So the first thing that I did was increase the tension of the belt. And at that time, the belt that I was using was a standard V belt. So I increased the tension and that took care of it for a few minutes. But then the whining sound appeared again. So I ended up replacing the belt with a new one, a Coke type V belt, and again that took care of it for only a few minutes, and then the whining sound appeared again. So I then flushed the old hydraulic fluid out, replaced it with a new one, but the whining sound was still there. So I ended up taking this out, bought a repair kit, replaced all the o-rings, cleaned it out as best I can. As you can see, I don't have any leaks. I put a new fluid in, but lo and behold, the whining sound was still there. And I tell you, I must have taken this down 5, maybe even 7 times, tried to reverse the fins, etc. I will try to provide you an illustration of that in a while, okay? But each time, it still produced a high-pitched whining sound. And in fact, it even got worse. The pump was already whining all throughout and would become louder whenever I turned the wheel. By that time, I told myself I only have 3 options. One is just to live with it. The power steering works anyway, it just whines. But I did not want that. 2 is to buy a new pump. And also, I did not want that option because I found that impractical, because this pump still works. It just produces a whining sound. So I told myself I will try number 3 option. I said, if option 3 still won't work, then that's the time I will consider option 2, which is buy a new pump. So here it is. What I did was, and I will do it now while the engine was running, okay, inside this syringe is just diesel fuel. I tell you, I kid you not, within seconds, almost instantaneously, the whining sound disappeared. The next day it appeared again, and then I just added this amount of diesel again, and I tell you, that was 9 years ago, and I never had the same problem ever since. Let me illustrate, okay? If this is the body of your pump, okay, this is the pulley, okay, you have the drive shaft, and on this drive shaft you have a rubber mechanical seal, and at the end of this drive shaft you have the rotor, if you can call them that, okay, the rotor. So there's really no active roller bearing inside here. What lubricates this pump is the hydraulic fluid itself. Now if we are to look at this pump from this side, okay, say this is the back end of the pump, you have your rotor here. The rotor has grooves in it, okay, something like that, okay, and this rotor rotates around a slightly, okay, out of round cylinder, and on these grooves are fins, okay, something like that. Now centrifugal force are going to push these fins outside towards this cylinder wall, and because of that you have the hydraulic fluid being sucked from trees, okay, this is just an illustration, and then that hydraulic fluid is going to be pushed and pressurized out the other end, and that is what actually produces your hydraulic pressure. So let's look back again at this illustration. Like I've said, in this pump there is really no active roller bearing. What lubricates the internals of this pump is the hydraulic fluid itself. So because of wear and tear, what I believe happened was hydraulic fluid was no longer able to go in between this shaft, producing that whining sound. When I introduced the diesel is slightly more thinner than the hydraulic fluid. Diesel allowed to seep its way through here, thereby no longer creating metal to metal contact. So as far as I'm concerned, that's the best explanation I can offer as to why that works. So I do believe the more tension you apply on this pulley, the more friction you apply on this shaft, and it's going to produce an even louder whining sound. That is why ever since then I shifted to using a coke type V-belt. Now before I will end this video, I would just like to say I'm not saying that you ought to do this on your vehicle, okay? But should you find yourself in a similar situation, you might want to try that out. Add a little diesel, okay? As far as I'm concerned, it worked for me. That was 9 years ago and I never had the same problem. So it might, just maybe, it might also work for you. So I do believe that's it. That's all that there is to show. I hope this video can help you out. I hope so. And if you like this video, like, share, subscribe if you want to, only if you want to. And as always, thank you for watching.